Hello again, everybody. Zach Attack is here with the Atak Sportz for this Monday, December the 1st, 2014. Can I believe we're in December? Now let's get on down with NFL week. Is it week 11 or 12? I forget what week it is. Week 13. Now I didn't make an Atak Sportz last Monday to review week 12 because I was on my way to the last game of week 12, the Jets against the Bills. Of course, as we know, the Jets and Bills game last week was on Monday night, an official Monday night game in Detroit, and I had free tickets to the game in Detroit. Took me 40 minutes online, but I got those free tickets to see the Bills and the Jets game in Detroit because it was a free game, and it was my first pro game ever, so it was kind of cool, even though it was a blowout. But the Bills destroying the Jets, it was kind of a fun game. I got a pro game from the game. It still said Wilson Stadium because they didn't print this out to verify the fact that it was in Detroit. It was a cool game. It's kind of cool to be in the game, even though it was kind of strange to see another team in the Lions' home field. But still, it's kind of cool to be at a pro game. So while the Lions did not play Monday night in Ford Field, they did play Thursday, defeating the Bears in the Thanksgiving Day tradition game. Now, the Bears got the first 2 touchdowns early. Looked like it was going to be another repeat of the last 2 losses for the Lions. And they're losing 2 games against the Cardinals and Pats. They're heading towards another loss. But in the second quarter, that's when the Lions came alive and scored the rest of the game. Ended up being a 34-17 squashing of the Bears on Thanksgiving Day. And the Lions were the only home team to win the Thanksgiving game. The away teams ended up winning the other 2 games. The Eagles defeated the Cowboys in Dallas, kicking their asses 33-10, as Wobble's back injury still bugged them. So the Eagles' fast offense, even with backup quarterback and former Jets QB Mark Sanchez taking over, bang. The Eagles destroyed the Cowboys in a rivalry game. Of course, it's the first game of their 2-game series as the division rivals. They'll be playing in Philly in a couple weeks on Sunday Night Football. But there was Thursday Night Football as the Seahawks shut down the 49ers at home with a 19-3 victory. The 49ers just looked shitty. They looked as bad as the Bears did doing that game against the Packers a few weeks ago in Lambeau. It was an embarrassing defeat for the 49ers. Couldn't get anything going. Just got shut down at home by the number 1 defense in the NFL. Besides the Lions, being the Seahawks. That was Thursday's games. Yesterday's games, we had the Packers coming off their big win against Philly, I think, last week. Whoever they beat, 55 points. It was a slow but interesting game against the Pats. The Pats scored early against the Packers, but the Packers would be the one to be scoring. In the second quarter, they came alive in that second quarter. Big passes. Jordy Nelson got a big pass. There was some big plays by one of the best QBs around today, Aaron Rodgers. And I'm a Bears fan saying that, but my mom's a Packer fan. She was happy to see the Packers defeat the Pats 26-21 as Tom Brady was swearing a bunch of F-bombs during the game, especially when the Packers got that last-minute touchdown. You should, like I said, they had a camera on Tom Brady saying, you know what I mean? So the Packers got their big win over the Pats. Tight games all the way in the 1 o'clock games as the Saints defeated the Steelers 35-32 in a big upset victory by the San Diego Chargers, beating the Ravens in the last second of the game. Ravens just scored a field goal. It was 33-28. And the Chargers with a big pass interference call against the Ravens got the TD out of that. Because those pass interference against the Ravens at the end zone would set up the Chargers TD in the last minute of the game, winning by 1 point, 34-33. Other games included the Bengals using an illegal flag to challenge the Buccaneers having 12 guys on the field, but it was a costly illegal flag as it was called on the Bucs after the review after the illegal flag because it was during the 2 minutes in the game because no coaches are allowed to challenge within 2 minutes left of the game. But illegal flag worth taking for the Bengals. Giants lost. Yeah, by PFM the other man. He won his game against the Chiefs. After blowing out the Pats at home a few weeks ago, the Chiefs got blown out by the Broncos at home. All the Chiefs were doing was scoring field goals. While the team known as the Broncos was scoring TDs. Despite some of the best guys still out, Broncos did play a fun game and a great catches, a great game from Peyton Manning all around. As the Broncos take full advantage and full lead on their division with a 9-3 lead in their division, with the Chiefs now 7-5. Now, of course, the Packs are now 9-3 in the NFC North. Lions are 8-4 in their division. So it's going to be very intriguing if it comes down to them playing for the NFC Championship game for the title of the NFC North title championship game, should I say. Other games include Johnny Manziel playing QB for the first time, scoring a touchdown against the Bills, but ended up losing 26-10. I'm hearing Johnny Football will no longer be Johnny Benched, as he'll be playing starting, I think, next week. As the Browns, I think they take on the Colts next week. So there you go. Now, before we get to my Raw review, or should I say Raw preview this week, big topic about wrestling over the Thanksgiving weekend. CM Punk finally broke his silence about why he left WWE on the Colt Cabana podcast. I haven't listened to it yet. I just read the headlines about the point of the interview. He's like, I worked hard for too many years. There was so many arguments with Vince. And of course, he was like taking a little break. And he said that leaving the company felt more happy than I ever did. But any chance of me coming back was ruined by me getting fired on my wedding day. Like, my stance on this whole Punk thing, at least he finally broke the silence about because he hadn't really addressed it. You know, he hadn't really addressed the whole issues with WWE. You know, and I'm happy for Punk. If he lets time heal all wounds and come back here, I don't mind him. But I think hopefully the night on Raw, CM Punk chance can end once and for all. Because now he finally broke his silence. And he may never come back. So shut the fuck up, WWE fans. Don't say anything about Punk tonight on Raw. Please don't change his name tonight. Hopefully this whole CM Punk podcast thing has silenced the critics once and for all. So there you go. Now on to my WWE Raw review for this evening. Little option there. My brother's girlfriend's here with her daughter, so they were busted out of here. They were coming down to visit. Or should I say, girl that's a friend. They're not officially an item yet. Don't tell me I said that. So there you go. But they might be official soon, so they were just leaving. That's why I was being told that they were leaving. Now, on with my Raw preview for tonight. 2 weeks before TLC. Lot to be going down here on Raw tonight. Top 4 questions that must be entered tonight. Question number 4. Will Sting make an appearance on Raw tonight? Well, the big news around the world last week was, of course, Sting finally making his long-awaited WWE debut at Survivor Series, ending the Authority's reign of power. Now, he didn't appear on Raw last week. It was an okay Raw last week. Of course, I didn't make a Raw review last week because of the NFL game I went to. The Jets-Bills free game of Monday Night Football was very intriguing in Detroit. But it was interesting going and strange, but it was kind of cool to see how the Bills do their games at home. And an opportunity for me to finally see a football game for free. But Sting didn't appear on Raw last week. You know, who knows if he's going to appear on Raw at all. Maybe he'll just save his appearances for pay-per-views. You know what I mean? TLC's coming up, so he may save his appearance for pay-per-views. So there you go. Speaking of people who make appearances only on pay-per-views, Raw's in Detroit in 2 weeks. And there's local advertisements in Detroit saying that Brock Lesnar will be on Raw in Detroit in 2 weeks, which is the Raw after TLC. That's what I'm hearing. Question number 3. What big impact will the New Day group have? Now, the New Nation Domination group, now called A New Day, has been in the works for 7 months. But thanks to certain events, including Ferguson, especially after that grand jury decision last week, I will not comment on it because that's not my form. That's not my forte. I don't talk about things I don't know much about. I don't want to comment about things I know little about. I don't want to do that. So stay out of it. With all that stuff, the New Day group, as it's called, has been on hold for weeks, for months. But now, we've been seeing the promos for the last couple of weeks involving this new group, involving Big E, Kofi Kingston, and Xavier Woods. And they make their debut tonight. Now, I'm looking forward to see how this does. How it's going to connect with the fans. Now, Kofi Kingston and a new gimmick. I've been wanting Kofi Kingston to turn heel for a long time. And let's see if this new gimmick does anything for him. And I think this gimmick's going to work well for Big E. Because a couple months ago, he did a promo against Rusev. He was talking like a preacher. And that's, I love that. He was like, wow, he can really be a good preacher character. And boy, oh boy, they're embracing it by having him speak like a preacher, man. Like, oh, Lord, mighty, you know what I mean? The promo, so I'm looking forward to seeing how these three guys are going to work out and how this group's going to be received and conceived well in the WWE. Question number 2. Will any new matches be added for TLC? Now, we know one match thus far for TLC that was named at Survivor Series following the disqualification finish of their match, Bray Wyatt and Dean Ambrose, in the post-match beatdown involving tables, ladders, and chairs. It will be a TLC match involving those two guys, and I knew it was going to come down to that. I knew that Survivor Series match was going to be a DQ to set up a match at TLC, and they're going to tear it up at TLC. The match at Survivor Series was pretty good, but now seeing them on the pay-per-view, TLC, and having the weapons legal should be awesome. And we should have more matches, maybe. I don't know what's going to happen with Cena, because Lesnar's once again probably not going to appear at TLC, but it will be, like I said, at the War after TLC, because it will be in Detroit, because I live in Detroit. They had a local advertisement saying that Brock Lesnar will be on Raw in Detroit in 2 weeks, and I have the TLC to start possibly setting up for him and Cena 3 at the Royal Rumble in Philly. So, there goes. We should get some more matches very soon for TLC, probably tonight. And question number 1. What will happen with the GM tonight? Now, since the authority's out of power for now, they're going to have these makeshift authority figures until they find somebody permanently, or when Cena finally caves in and brings back the authority because he's got the power. So we'll see what happens with Cena tonight on Raw. And of course, the anonymous GM will return. Now, I just found this out. I'm on the WWE.com right now, and they just named a match for tonight, a tag team turmoil match, to determine the number 1 contenders for the new tag team champions, Miz and Mizdow, of course, winning the titles at Survivor Series, defeating Starr and Goldust with Once Against Us All, getting the pin last week. Actually, Sandow getting the assist to Miz. Miz got the Skull Crusher finale thanks to Mizdow's help. And there's a tag team turmoil match. The New Day mentioned they will be debuting tonight. They will be debuting in this match, in this tag team turmoil match. They will be taking on Cesaro and Tyson Kidd. Oh, that should be an intriguing team. Golden Stardust, the Usos, and Adam Rose and the Bunny. Why are they in this match? To start up the possible, finally, Adam Rose's heel turn. He's been attacking the Bunny for weeks. The Bunny's been upstaging him, kind of like Miz and Mizdow. So there you go. That's a match named for tonight. Maybe we're going to attack the title match named for TLC tonight. With the results of this tag team turmoil match, the new number 1 contenders could possibly set up a match at TLC. And speaking of TLC, there was a match added. Kane against Ryback. Why that match? In a chairs match. That just got added. Maybe more matches and all that. Leading towards TLC tonight. On Raw. At 8, 7 Central on formerly Spike TV and USA Network. That is it for the Atak Sportz for this day. Thank you very much for watching. See you later tonight for my Raw review. That mind y'all been attacked by the new sports news from Zach. See you later. Yeah.